boat is split into two decks. The top, that has all the illustrious and rich passengers, and the bottom, where basically everyone else is staying.
Oh, so it's
Okay,
like
it's the
Titanic. So
Yes.
people is like, you probably already know what that means. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
This is
Este video llega a ustedes gracias a nuestros patrones.
especialmente a Belki, Emilio, and the Noli here, Edgar y Niño.
Minyeo TV.
Hola, Minyeo bienvenidos a Minyeo TV.
Yo soy Sol.
Y yo soy Luna, and today we're going to react to a cultural video because we're gonna be watching El Filibusterismo by José Rizal. It's a quick summary that we found in the channel Silver Stuff. Thank you so much for making this quick summary so we can react to it.
Yes, this is a video that you guys actually requested. You wanted us to check the El Filibusterismo book. Filibusterismo book. So here we are. But before we do that,
Quick shout out, huge shout out to our certified and verified neo-Nazis, especially Cherry Flor, Don G, and Jay. Thank you so much for supporting our channel. If you also want to support our channel, click on the join button next to the subscribe button. And if you haven't subscribed already, because we're
what are
gonna
you
have,
waiting for?
we're gonna have a karaoke session, live karaoke session when we reach 40k subs. Here is our social media. Go ahead and follow us over there, and also support my streaming career on Twitch at Luna0838. Now let's watch this video.
Dr. José Rizal was considered one of the most influential thinkers of the Philippine Revolution, and it's not hard to see why. His writings, as well as the organization he founded, were essential to uniting Filipinos into rising up against the Spaniards, even well after his death. His world-famous duology...
So he is like the Juan Pablo,
The Juan Pablo
Duarte, to our...
yeah.
Yeah, well, not exclusively Juan Pablo Duarte from us, because there were a lot of
La
people who
Trinitaria
were...
in general.
Yeah, they were apporting literature and poetry and a lot of stuff, like to incentivize the masses to fight
But
against...
the most important thing that they did, they had this theatrical plays
Yeah.
where they had these messages into the plays
Yes,
to put
in the script.
the independence
The desire
craving
for independency in
on the
Dominican
people. It was very clever because you couldn't do all the things up front
Yeah.
in front of the
Out
Spaniards.
Out in the open, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was not independence from Spain.
Oh, that
So why did you
that
say that?
one, yeah, that one was it was independence from Haiti.
From Haiti, yes.
Noli Me Tángere and El Filibusterismo have been passed down for generations for young Filipinos to read and study, and for today, we'll be focusing on the latter of the two, El Filibusterismo.
And I have to say, Noli Me Tángere is not in Spanish, so
Yes.
people is like, you probably already know what that means. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
This is either that's either Italian or Latin. It's straight up
Yes.
Latin or Italian.
Just a quick background, El Fili was first published in 1891 and
Wow.
centers on the Noli's protagonist, Crisostomo Ibarra, returning to the Philippines 13 years after his death, a completely changed person. He had abandoned all thought of idealism and peaceful revolution and had become convinced that sabotage and violence were the only ways to get some results. The dark themes and violent plots of Fili are a sudden depart from the romantic and hopeful airs of its predecessor, and because of the book's blatant exposure of the abuses committed by the Spanish government and the church, the books were outright banned in some areas of the country.
Ah, so yeah, they banned the book. They found out, guys. Sorry.
Talk about touchy.
Tabo.
So, our story begins on the steamboat Tabo as it makes its way up the Pasig River from Manila on its way to Laguna de Bay. The boat is split into two decks. The top, that has all the illustrious and rich passengers, and the bottom where basically everyone else is staying.
Oh, so it's
Okay,
like
it's the
Titanic.
version.
By the way, is an interesting show of symbolism that represented the social hierarchy back then. On the top,
Yes.
we had the rich and known Spanish, then their confidence, and at the bottom are the Indios or the natives and the poorer Chinamen.
Oh.
Among our passengers on this ship are Ibarra, who is now known as Simon, the rich jeweler, Doña Victorina, the ridiculously pro-Spanish Indio woman who is in search of her estranged husband, Paulita Gomez, the pretty and rich orphan niece of the Doña, Ben Zaib, a prolific Spanish journalist, Padres Sibilia, Camora, Salvi, Rene, and Florentino, Don Custodio, a high-up and well-respected pro-Spanish Filipino, Isagani, Padre Florentino's nephew, as well as the lover of Paulita, and Basilio, if you can recall from the last book, the son of Sisa, who is now about to graduate medical school, thanks to his patron, Capitan Diago.
Interesting characters. Wow.
A lot of
Very-
padres over there.
A lot of combination of characters and like personalities. What?
I'm
I'm sorry.
thirsty, Jos.
Simon, as mentioned before, is now bitter and cynical and only believes that violence and sabotage is the only way to overthrow the Spanish government. And he plants himself as an agitator and saboteur, violently siding with the Spaniards and encouraging abuse against the masses, which would stir up a revolution, basically making himself the bad guy. I find very admirable. He lost everything and returns willing to lose everything a second time so the revolution may push through. Albeit his methods are all that successful,
Yeah.
spoiler alert.
He's like, he's evil but with good intentions.
Yeah, but aren't all evil characters like they have all bad characters in stories? They always have a dream that you say, okay, we understand, yes.
But these are
But they just take a little bit further, and that's like take it turns out to be not the right thing, you know.
Anywho, Simon is able to smuggle firearms into the country through Quiroga, a rich Chinese merchant that owes Simon a great deal of money. His
He looks
first plot,
evil.
however, is kind of botched by the fact
According
that
to
he
how
told
she's
that
rude.
Maria Clara had died by Basilio. That absolute intellectual.
Okay.
Anyways, back to the story. On Christmas Eve, Basilio is back in San Diego, which is the town where Capitan Tiago lives and is also the place where the events of Noli take place, and slips out into a forest property that was once owned by Ibarra to visit the graves of his mother Sisa and the revolutionary Elias. So when he gets there, he finds that he isn't the first to arrive there, and surprise, surprise, it's our old pal Simon. So stuff happens, lives are threatened, revelations are made, and Simon tries to get Basilio to join the revolution, using what happened to his mother and brother at the hands of the Spaniards against him. Basilio is understandably shaken up by this, but tells Simon that he'll still have to think about it. See, Basilio is in love with this girl named Juli, who is the daughter of Cabezang Tales, a man who had once been successful, but had everything stolen from him by the friars. And, while trying to guard what he had left, he was captured by bandits that held him at a very high ransom. And to pay that ransom, Juli had to offer herself as a servant to Hermana Penchang, a pious Catholic. Basilio heard about all of this, so with his savings, he freed Juli from her obligations to Hermana Penchang and bought a small house that Juli and her grandfather, Tandangcelo, could live in.
Okay, that was so fast.
Another thing about Basilio
Or wait,
is...
this is a quick summary.
It's
so
a
maybe
summary,
in the book they develop more into
All of these characters,
plot.
yeah.
Yes.
He's part of a student group that is pushing to have a school for the Spanish language built, but have so far been heavily opposed by the Dominicans for some reason.
Dominicans?
Remember that
Dominicans, like
they were a religious organization.
It's religious. I'm like, what?
Not us.
We are mentioned in this book.
Our country name come from the
Yeah,
order
come
of the
from them,
Dominicos,
yes.
and that's why it's República Dominicana. It's just because it's like they took it from the name of these religions organization.
Yes.
who end up having the plan for the school approved, but they don't get to manage the teaching. I guess that's still worth celebrating because they go over to a panciteria to celebrate their victory with dinner. Everyone except Basilio, who had to stay with Capitan Tiago because he was sick. While eating, the students end up mocking some of the priests and even Don Custodio, but unknown to them, there was someone watching and listening in on their conversation.
Oh,
The Simon
guy, seguro. Why he do this? In the back.
I don't know.
This is so odd.
The next day,
Do people
Basilio-
do this in the way? Those people do this like that. Like he had his hand touching his elbow.
Yeah, like this. To exit, a dramatic exit.
This is so odd.
Let's
It's not
continue because
comfortable.
it's not relevant.
who wanders over to the university to find that all classes had been suspended because rebellious posters and notes had been posted all over the doors at the school, and that the
Oh.
students that had been at the gathering the night before had been arrested. So Basilio, in true shonen anime protagonist fashion, hurries over to the house of the leader of the student group, and they are both subsequently arrested.
Oh no! I thought that Basilio was going to save the day because
know.
given that as he was sick, he was not in the meeting, so his chance of I didn't get arrested, so let me do something.
Yeah,
And
but now he got
he
himself
got
arrested.
too. Anyway,
So Basilio, with nobody to vouch for him, because Capitan Tiago had what? So Capitan Tiago's dead, and Basilio sat in prison and stayed there, long after all the students had been taken home by their families.
okay.
When Huli hears of this, she
So in the end, everybody they have family and they
Yeah,
were
lo sacaron
released.
rápido de la cárcel.
Except
su
for this
familia.
other guy who died, and now Basilio is staying longer in the jail. He was not even part of the meeting. Really?
tries her
Palom.
best to get support to have Basilio released, and this doesn't work. So with no one else to go to, she reluctantly heads over to the convent to ask help from Padre Camora, which ultimately wasn't a good idea because that meeting ends up with Huli jumping out of the convent window to get away from him.
And she
Man!
died? Did she die?
So eventually, it's Simon who gets Basilio out of prison using his super cool connections.
Simon, the bad guy.
The
Wasn't
bad guy.
Simon
He's
the
not
one that
really
was
a bad
listening?
guy. Yeah, I believe he was the
Well,
one
we
listening.
assumed that, but it was never mentioned.
He just wanted the revolution to happen. He just wanted now.
He just want fire.
He wants to see the world
Chaos.
burn. He is chaotic good. Chaotic good. But
Since
not
his
bad.
experiences in there, as well as the news of the death of Huli, Basilio
Yeah,
executes
obviously Julie died. She threw herself through the window.
Yes, like,
what were
why?
you expecting?
a flawless Ibarra 180 and joins the band of rebels that Simon had organized.
Of course.
Also, while they were all in prison, Paulita decided to leave Isagani for the other boy she had in her life, Juanito Pelaez, a Spanish mestizo. Simon was able to hasten the preparations for the wedding by offering a loan to Juanito's father so that he could buy the house of the now late Capitan Tiago. Later, Simon reveals his big plan to Basilio. The wedding was going to be a very big event, so naturally, a lot of very important Spanish officials and people would be there.
Mm-hmm.
He would give the newlyweds a beautiful-looking lamp that was filled with a highly explosive chemical nitroglycerin.
Wow.
When the lamp began to dim, someone would move over there and relight it, causing the nitroglycerin to explode,
Wow.
setting off the gunpowder that
So
was...
this person will have to sacrifice their life, so because they had to light the lamp and it's going to explode right away.
Everything
the
is
house,
gonna die
causing
there.
an even larger explosion, killing everyone inside.
Everybody.
The explosion would act as a signal for the other rebels to start the general rebellion in Manila, thus marking the start of the Philippine Revolution. Surprisingly, Basilio is cool with the entire plan. Come on, man. You're not that girlfriend thing.
Wait. So this happened or didn't happen? I got lost.
What do you mean? No, that's the
Basilio,
plan. That's
what?
just the plan.
Basilio didn't like the plan. That's what
He's
she
cool
said.
with the plan.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, like, why are you cool with this?
Later, Basilio wanders near the ill-fated wedding and runs into Isagani, the crestfallen lover of Paulita. Seeing as the house was ready to explode, Basilio, the highly intellectual person he is, tells Isagani Simon's entire plot.
No. Why?
And she's like, this guy's so stupid.
Isagani reacts about as well as you'd think, and rushes into the house as soon as the lamplight began dying, and tosses it into
Of
the river,
course. Oh my
diving
god.
as well not too far after.
What?
This ruins the entire...
Of
Excuse
course
me,
you
wait,
ruined the
wait.
plan. Oh
He
my
threw
god.
the lamp and then he jumped to the river too?
I don't know why. Why? I feel so happy. I feel so invested in this.
Okay, continue.
his scheme, and Simon is exposed as a traitor,
Of
eventually
course.
ending up being chased by the Guardia Civil with guns, again. When the house failed to explode, the rebels took things into their own hands and attacked all too early and were destroyed by the Guardia Civil.
Yeah, because they were rogue, and now
So she
without...
said Guardia Civil in Spanish.
Sí, la Guardia Civil.
So if you weren't keeping count, Simon is now on the run from an angry government and an angry band of rebels. Wounded and ruined, Simon makes his way to the home of Padre Florentino, who takes him in and tries his best to heal him. A couple of days later, Padre Florentino receives a letter telling him to warn his Spanish guest that the Guardia Civil were coming in a week's time to arrest him and that they were armed with guns. Don Tiburcio, who had been there the entire length of the book, takes one look at the letter and yeets off. Simon hears about the letter and, deciding that dying was better than being captured, takes poison.
So he just...
Suicide.
On his deathbed, Simon tells Padre Florentino everything, his full name, what he'd been doing, the full Noli, and Padre Florentino listens to the full story, and this takes the better part of the day. And when all that is said and done, Simon finally and does actually die.
Wow.
So basically, Noli Me Tángere was... We were supposed to know about that first before knowing this, because these are the characters from that other novel.
Yeah, it's like
The
a
second part.
Second part. Yes.
So yeah. These are probably all the difuntos.
So there you have it. After several botched love stories, a vengeful plan gone wrong, and many character deaths, is El Filibusterismo.
Oh
Long story
my
short,
God.
not everyone bites the dust.
I really like the plan about the lamp. It was a good
It
plan.
was a good plan, and this other guy ruined that.
I don't know.
Basilio was the
Sí.
name. Oh, I hate that character already.
Simon shouldn't have trusted
Shouldn't have trusted
him.
him. It's true. Anyway, this book is genius actually.
And even for the technology of the era, the lamp thing, like, I'm impressed by the plan of the lamp, okay? Like, this is everything.
His writings, José Rizal's writings were very good, very interesting. I
Very
want to
interesting.
know.
Now I want to read
Because
the
it-
whole novel.
Yeah, because it says this is the last part, and apparently there's 2 more parts that we don't know about. So let us know in the comments so we can also react to that. And
Let
now,
us know all the correct order of the books.
Yes, please. So we can have the whole thing in our heads.
The whole story, like why did Simone became like that?
Why did you guys ask us to react to this one first?
They have
makes
been
no
asking for
sense.
Noli Me Tángere.
Really? How come
I think so, yes.
I didn't see this one.
On your defense, guys. I'm just
Well, anyway, guys, thank you anyway for recommending this. And now watch this video
that appears right here, recommended by YouTube's algorithm,
especially for you.
So click on it
Right
right now.